Welcome, listeners. You are listening to a podcast from the Free People's Movement out of Sweden. Episode 5. George Soros. Who is he really? George Soros, originally Georgi Schwartz. Born August 12, 1930 in Budapest, Hungary, is an American financier, currency speculator, economic and philosophical debater, and philanthropist. However, his background suggests that he proved himself useful for the deep state already at a young age. As a young boy, Soros was adopted by an unknown man, which he himself calls his protector. Soros then assisted the Nazis in confiscation of goods and items during the Aryanization processes, where they stole expensive items from the population, primarily from the Jewish people. For some reason, the Nazis had lists of the people that possessed the most expensive items. And Soros, amongst others, helped the Nazis identify these people. Where did these lists come from? Well, to find that out, we have to go a bit further back in history, and again, the light from reality will shine on Sweden. The story about the Nazis' lists begins in the Swedish parliament. Sven Palm, born December 4, 1854 in Kalmar, and died August 9, 1934 in Stockholm, was a Swedish politician and member of parliament. He represented the Liberal Coalition Party, together with Oskar Wallenberg and Carl Warburg, in 1905. Sven Palm was also the managing director of an insurance company, called Thule Life Insurance Company. Thule Life Insurance Company later became an umbrella organization for other insurance companies, in the Nordic countries and in Europe. Why is the name Thule important? Well, it directly connects to the occult history of Nazism. The Thule Society, Thule Gesellschaft, TG, was a secret, racist society that arose in Germany towards the end of the First World War. It took its name from the mythical island of Thule, which in Greek mythology was considered to be the northern border of the world. The society gave its support to Hitler and the NSDAP. Sven Palm also founded the Swedish-German Association, with the purpose to promote Swedes and Germans' knowledge of each other's land and peoples, as well as spiritual and material cultivation, as well as otherwise without any political goals cooperate for common cultural purposes. We also know that both the Wallenberg family and the Warburg family had deep connections to the Nazis during the Second World War. The idiotic idea of race biology, and more specifically, the notion of an Aryan race, did it really originate in Germany? Or did it originate somewhere else? We will come back to this topic a bit further down the line, in our series. Back to George Soros and the Nazis' lists. Were these lists, that the Nazis had acquired, actually insurance registries? Wouldn't it be practical if everyone that had their expensive and precious items insured found themselves on these lists? That would make the process of gathering these items pretty efficient, wouldn't it? We are at this point willing to bet that the Thule Life Insurance Company had something to do with it. In 2007, a Swedish man called Daniel Sachs was named Young Global Leader by the World Economic Forum. Among a number of international board assignments, he is a member of the European Council on Foreign Relations, and a board member of the George Soros Open Society Foundations. Daniel Sachs is the brother of Fanny Sachs, who is married to Marcus Wallenberg. Fanny's two daughters are in turn married to the powerful Bonnier family. The Bonnier family control the majority of Swedish newspapers, television stations, and publishers. Between the families of Wallenberg, Lundin, Bonnier, and Sachs, there are an enormous number of ties to other business and politics. Among other things, Anders Borg, former Swedish Minister of Finance, works for the finance family Sachs company, Goldman Sachs, as well as Thomas Östros. Östros is Sweden's former business, education, school, tax, housing, and deputy finance minister. Östros is now employed by the International Monetary Fund, but also worked as CEO of the Bankers Association, where he represented banks such as SEB, Nordea, Handelsbanken, and Swedbank. So the question is whether these families have simply succeeded in infiltrating the entire Swedish political system, or even the legal system, as well. Open Society funds the following organizations, among others: New America, Best for Britain, European Movement UK, Scientists for the EU, Media Matters for America, Center for Public Integrity, Human Rights Watch, Priorities USA Action, American Bridge 21st Century, America Votes, Millennium Promise, Tide Center and Foundation, Wikimedia Endowment, Black Lives Matter, Expo, and the Swedish School for Politicians. When Soros is not financing so-called protest movements, such as Black Lives Matter or Antifa, he is manufacturing caravans of refugees, or using his financial assets as economic weapons, like we saw in 1992, during the attack on the currency, in order to break the exchange rate cooperation. He also has his sticky fingers in election fraud, which will become even more apparent as time goes on. At this point, it's all about exposing the deep state for what it really is, and who has been hiding in plain sight all this time. George Soros has been useful for the deep state all throughout his life, and has always been under the control of the Wallenberg family. Q post, number 416. Soros takes orders from P. You have no idea how sick and evil these people are. Fight, fight, fight. Day of days. Game over. Q. So, who is P? Maybe we can phrase that question a bit differently. Who is Peter Poker Wallenberg? Follow us into the next episode, where we will dig even deeper. Thank you for listening.